Well, it is Sunday morning. Yeah, so I was going to say a usual Sunday morning vlog. So yeah, it's not that early yet, but you guys have actually changed over in North America. You've changed the time, haven't you? Let me see, it's 8:30 in the morning here. So if you're on the East Coast, it'll be 3:30 in the night, because normally you had, with like Montreal or East Coast, we had 6 hours difference. And now it's going to be 5 until the end of the month. Sorry, I'm just putting, close my jacket and put something in the pocket which I need. The little thingamajig, yeah. Here we are. Yeah, so it's funny because, you know, weather here, I mean, it's kind of different when they say things like, if you live in the plain like we do, they'll say, well, snow is going to be coming down. They usually, you know, they say the altitudes. And so they say, well, snow should be coming down to between 600 and 700 meters. And we had a windstorm yesterday. It was really, we still do have some wind, I don't know. Yeah. But, so they were talking about, you know, snow coming down. So I'll just show you what, I guess what they meant by snow. Yeah, I was kind of expecting a little bit more than a brushing, but on the other hand, that's just that much less, you know, there's just that much less, you know, to get rid of if you have to have a lot of snow and have to shovel off the yard or stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not complaining. I mean, there's less to go. Oh, we were looking around yesterday. Mrs. DC and I were thinking about buying electric bikes to, you know, get back into cycling again. And felt like something, you know, especially, you know, with the grandkids, you know, they'll be on their own little bikes and stuff like that, or eventually, or you can sit them in the back. But over here, I guess it's the same all over the world. I hadn't looked into it all that much, and nevertheless a bit. There's two classes of e-bikes basically. I mean, there's the ones that go up to 45 kilometers an hour. Which are like basically they're the new style electric mopeds, we could say. They look like a bike, but basically they're classified as a moped. They have you actually have to have a driver's license for it. You have to have and there's a real a number shield on it, and so on. You know, the license plate, I mean, and so on. So yeah, and then yeah, I thought, well, it's okay. I mean, that's not such a bad thing. It'll go fast. But then we looked around yesterday, and the guy at the store told us, he says, but you do realize that you can't go in, you know, in bicycle trails, or let's say in the woods. This is not a bicycle. This is considered a vehicle. And I thought, like, well, some people do it regularly. And he says, yeah, but he said they are actually doing it against the law. And now the way things are going, he said, you are not actually allowed to do that. And over here in our towns, there's more and more and more towns that are, well, ours is going to do it probably next year, but the speed limits on most of the roads in town at 30 kilometers an hour. 30 kilometers an hour, that is like, it's like 18 miles an hour. And so as soon as you touch, I was going to say, if you're going 50 on a 30, you could lose your license. You know, so if you're going to your normal speed there, you could lose your license because you're so much over the speed limit. So anyway, so he said, you know, actually, going back to the bikes, he says you can get in trouble actually with the e-bike, even in town now. And I thought, okay, that's not really what I want. Then he showed us another one that goes up to, I think it's 25 kilometers or something like that. Because I mean, these are like with motor assisted stuff and so on. Anyway, and he said, well, this is a bike. He says it's considered a bike. You don't need a license. You don't need a license plate. This is a bike. And the only advantage, as he says, well, the big advantage is, of course, is that you can get around anywhere, go around anywhere the way you would. The disadvantage, of course, is it's not a moped speed. The wind's coming back. I thought it was going to go away. Anyway, yeah. So we're thinking about it. We might have even ordered, but you know, there's an unbelievable route right now. Everybody's going for bikes. Isn't the pandemic stuff because people want to get outside and so on. He told us, well, first off, there's a production problem. They've been having production problems, and he says people are buying them like crazy. So we had spotted 2 bikes, a small frame for Mrs. DC, and it would be the large frame for myself. I'm kind of like the size at just where it goes from medium to large. Yeah. Anyway, so and there was a small, a medium, and a large of that model that we really wanted was left. And I said, I'm going to check with my son because he has one of those 45 ones. He uses it for commute. And then when I called him in the afternoon, he said, and we had not reserved it. That mistake. So there's only the small one that was left. So I've been looking around to see if I can find other stores. Actually, even in all of Switzerland, most of the stores are out of those models. So anyway, I'm looking. I might have found a place somewhere. So yeah, we're chatting. Yeah, we're already up to 6 minutes. This week at work, man, our CEO left. That's all I'll put in that respect. I won't go into the internal politics. Well, yes, maybe a little bit, nevertheless. Is that he left on the same day. That was part of the internal politics. So the next day he wasn't there. Have you ever noticed that when somebody like that, when they're gone and it's a bit controversial, people's opinions change, don't they? All of a sudden you get the impression that good friends never really were friends, you know, or, oh, well, yes. Anyway, so they've got somebody else, already an internal person, set in place, so we'll see how it goes. But it is, I was thinking, you know, when you leave somewhere, it doesn't even mean, I'm not talking automatically about death, but it does come into that. But when you leave, you often wonder, what are people saying about you? How is it? You know, you've probably, you know, it's the old thing about, you know, assisting your own funeral or being there or spying, you know, what people really think of you, or no, maybe not what they really think about you. It's what they want people to think that they think about you. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting thing because really when you get down to it, I don't know if we really count for that many people. We do maybe on the moment that we're with them, but I mean, just look at us vloggers or what, you know, I mean, there was a time where we had quite a few views, now we have hardly any. Why? Because people are doing something else. They're interested in other stuff. So do we count? Well, you know, we're just not part of the important equation. That's the whole thing. That doesn't make the other people bad people. That's not what I'm saying. You're just all of a sudden not part of the important sphere. So, you know, when you think about that, you say like, okay, more and more, you know, count on your family, do things for yourself, be happy in that way. If you got a good circle of close friends, it can be online as well. Don't get me wrong, I mean, because I am talking online right now. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I was thinking about that actually a few years back, and not in the beginning of the month, because it was my dad that passed away 2 years ago. But my dad, which was in my mind was not a particularly popular person. I mean, he had a few friends, but yeah, and I mean, he'd been in an old folks home for years. Well, the church was full, and it wasn't just relatives. I mean, of course, you know, some relatives come over, and some people come over for their free meal. But I was surprised. I was thinking, I wonder if it'll be that many people when I pass on. Oh, anyway, I'll have another vlog another time about, not about passing on, but about digital know-how. So you see, nothing to do with that, but I'm really up to 9.5 minutes. So I'm going to stop there. So, DC, signing off. Take care, everybody. Have a good Sunday. Bye.